Open almost any closet in the world right now, and you'll probably find at least one pair. Blue, sturdy, faded in places from wear. Jeans are so common today that nobody really questions them. You put them on the same way you put on any other pants, without a second thought. You might assume they started as a fashion statement, something designed to look good, or maybe as a rebellious symbol worn by rock stars and rebels. Except that's not how jeans began at all. The real origin story has almost nothing to do with style, and everything to do with a problem that had nothing to do with fashion whatsoever. And once you understand that problem, you'll never look at a pair of jeans the same way again. To understand jeans, you actually have to go back further than most people expect, past America entirely, to two port cities on opposite sides of Europe. The fabric we now call denim gets its name from a French city, Nimes, where weavers produced a tough cotton twill fabric known as serge de Nimes, eventually shortened in English to just denim. Meanwhile, in the Italian port city of Genoa, sailors wore a different but similarly rugged cotton fabric, and the French word for the Genoese sailors, jeans, is widely believed to be where the word jeans comes from. So even before jeans existed as we know them, the raw materials were already built around one shared purpose: durability for people doing physically demanding work near water, on ships, in ports, in conditions that destroyed regular clothing fast. That durability obsession is the actual key to everything that follows, because jeans as we recognize them today weren't invented by a fashion designer at all. They were invented to solve a problem for gold miners. In the mid-1800s, during the California gold rush, thousands of men poured into mining camps doing brutal, repetitive physical labor, digging, crouching, hauling. Regular cotton work pants ripped constantly, especially at stress points like pocket corners, where miners kept storing heavy tools, nuggets, and gear. A tailor named Jacob Davis, working in Nevada, kept getting complaints from customers whose pants tore apart within weeks. So he started reinforcing the stress points with metal rivets, small copper fasteners hammered directly into the seams. It worked remarkably well. But Davis didn't have the money to patent the idea on his own, so he wrote to the company that supplied his denim fabric, a dry goods merchant in San Francisco named Levi Strauss. On May 20th, 1873, Strauss and Davis were jointly granted a United States patent for improvement in fastening pocket openings. That single patent date is often treated as the literal birthday of blue jeans as a manufactured product. Not a fashion house, not a design trend, a patent for reinforced work pants built specifically to survive the punishment of manual labor. For the next several decades, jeans stayed almost entirely in that world, worn by miners, ranchers, railroad workers, and farmers. They were considered rough, utilitarian clothing, the kind of thing you wore because you needed to, not because you wanted to be seen in it. So if jeans started purely as tough workwear, the obvious question becomes, how did something built for miners end up as one of the most universally worn fashion items on the planet? The answer isn't really about the pants changing. It's about who started wearing them and what that signaled to everyone else watching. The shift began in the 1930s and accelerated hard through the 1950s, when jeans started appearing in Hollywood films, worn by actors playing cowboys, drifters, and outsiders. Characters who lived outside conventional social rules. Then came a moment that mattered more than almost anything else in this story. In 1955, actor James Dean wore jeans in the film Rebel Without a Cause, and the image of a young man in a plain white t-shirt and denim, radiating quiet defiance, became one of the most reproduced visual symbols of the decade. Almost overnight, jeans stopped meaning manual laborer and started meaning something completely different: youth, independence, rebellion against the buttoned-up formality of previous generations. Some American schools in the 1950s actually banned jeans from classrooms specifically because of that rebellious association, which, if anything, only made teenagers want to wear them more. This is where jeans reveal something bigger about how clothing actually works as a system of meaning. The fabric didn't change. The rivets didn't change. The fundamental garment stayed almost identical to what Jacob Davis designed for miners nearly a century earlier. What changed was entirely symbolic, layered on top of the object by culture, generation after generation. Workwear became rebellion. Rebellion eventually became mainstream fashion. And mainstream fashion, decades later, became something else entirely. A blank canvas onto which nearly every subculture has projected its own meaning. Punk movements in the 1970s ripped and safety-pinned jeans as an anti-establishment statement. Designer labels in the 1980s and 90s turned the exact same fabric into a luxury status symbol, charging hundreds of dollars for pants originally built to survive a gold mine. Hip-hop culture, skate culture, high-fashion runways, each one took the identical raw material and rewrote what it meant to wear it. There's a deeper thread running underneath all of this, one that connects jeans to something much older than the 1870s patent. Clothing has always worked as a kind of language, communicating status, group identity, and intention before a single word gets spoken. What makes jeans such a striking case study is how completely their meaning got rewritten, multiple times, without the object itself ever fundamentally changing. A rich executive and a construction worker can wear the exact same style of denim today, and the meaning attached to that choice depends almost entirely on context, brand, fit, and who's doing the looking. That's not something most garments manage to pull off across a century and a half. And that brings us to right now, to the pair sitting in your closet, or the ones you're wearing as you watch this. When you put on jeans today, you're not thinking about gold miners or riveted pocket corners or James Dean's leather jacket. You're just getting dressed. But the object itself is carrying all of that history, whether you're aware of it or not. A garment that started as pure survival gear for people doing dangerous, back-breaking work, that got hijacked by Hollywood, weaponized by teenagers, commodified by designers, and eventually normalized into something so ordinary that almost nobody questions it anymore. That's the real reason humans started wearing jeans, and it's also the reason they never stopped. Not because they were fashionable to begin with, but because they were tough enough to survive a mining camp, visible enough to be noticed by a camera lens a century later, and flexible enough as a symbol to mean whatever each new generation needed clothing to say about who they were. A patent for pocket rivets in 1873 eventually became one of the most quietly powerful pieces of cultural language the world has ever worn.